Hi, this is Ron Ovett, Mr. Change Agent, and today we're continuing a series of little videos here on our Change Blueprint. And today we want to talk about trigger management. Now, you can call it a trigger, psychologists call it a cue, whatever's cue, stimulus, response. Main thing is, I think trigger is a good word. Something happens and we're off to the races, right? Let me explain it this way. It's really about an urge, right? And so we have these different urges. And so you have a continuum. You have a habit at this end, and you have a craving at this end. And depending upon how difficult that is, the more knowledge, experience, and time you'll need to change it. And so it's very important that you realize, where am I on this continuum? We crave a lot of times. If it's sugar you're trying to get rid of, we crave it. Now, if it's exercise you're trying to add to your life, well, you're not necessarily going to crave that. Now, I was a runner, and trust me, the endorphins that happen with the runner's high, that feels good after a while, and you really do look forward to more and more exercise. Once you're into it, you'll find that you'll want to exercise. But when you're adding habits, you won't always have a craving, right? Cravings are more when you're trying to break a habit. But you can turn it into something you like. And so we have habits, and trigger management is very important. When you want to extinguish a habit, when you want to change something, it's important that you know what in the world's triggering you. And the key word here is environment, right? It's your environment. And so you have your environment, which makes up your what? People, places, and things. And this is important. What is it in your environment you need to change? We have triggers all around us. The triggers can be when you do it, where you do it, who you do it with, what do you do. All those things are triggers. Do you know our mind is so important that, for example, a person that's trying to stop drinking, and they were used to liquor in a glass with ice, right? And so when they hear the jingle of the ice in the glass, guess what? That triggers them. It could be that you pass a certain place and it triggers you. And so we need to do this. You go to office and they're always having a party, at 10 o'clock with donuts and everything else, and you're trying to stop. And so we need to manage that. And so how do we do some of those things? Well, one thing we can do is substitute, right? And so if we know that every day they're getting together and at your break time and having a good time, well, you don't want to miss that, because it's not just the good donuts, it's the fellowship, right? It's the getting to be with each other. It's the laughing. It's the stories you like to tell. And so take your own. Find something that you can eat. I use Atkins bars, right? I'm a low-carb kind of guy. And so, that would be something you could chew on while you're talking. And you can talk to your friends. That's another thing. Talk to your friends. Make them allies, right? Hey, say, look, I'm really trying to lose 20 pounds for the holidays, and I don't want to have all the donuts, so I'm going to bring my own. Is that okay? And you'll be surprised. People will help you. They'll want to help you. And you may have to stay away from some that won't. Some people just don't want you to change, right? And you may have to stay away from them. If you go past a place that triggers you on your way home every time, go a different way. Go a different way. No sense trying to fight some of these real primal, deep triggers right away. The farther you get away from your habit, the less appeal they'll have to you. But in those critical early starts, you need to take a hold of your environment and change it. This is management. You got to manage these triggers, and so you substitute some of it, right? Another one is this kind of clean up, right? So What's on your desk at work? You know, do you have, Snicker bars in the drawer? Get rid of them. You know, put something else there. Substitute, maybe a sugar-free little candy. You say, oh, I could. Yes, you could. Yes, you can. You can do a lot of things if you want, right? But you're going to have to look in your environment. Who do you hang around with? Who's going to help you? Where do you go? Where do you need to stay away from? How do you need to fix the things at home? What's in your refrigerator? What's in your drawers? All that depends upon the habit, but you can do that. Take a list, write it down, people, places, things, and start making, where are you triggered and where can you get help. You can find more of this on our website, Empower for Living. I can help you with that. We also have a webinar that goes over all this, but start managing your triggers, and you'll find you'll get a long ways in changing your habits. This is Ron Ovitt, Mr. Change Agent. Find out more at empowerforliving.com.